Welcome back, everybody. Today we are discussing Chapter 11 in the textbook, which is Breakeven Analysis and Sensitivity Analysis. There are two separate Excel sheets that go with each type of analysis, and it is up to you if you choose to. You can pause the lecture when I prompt you to and switch over to the Excel thing, or you can just watch this all the way through. It's very short, and then go watch the Excel one separately. Again, we're in chapter 11 in the book for any of you following along in there, and we will be going through some of the examples that are in that. So, the first thing that we have discussed is that there is uncertainty in project planning. That is something that we have been trying to hammer home as a key point in this class. And there are tons of unknowns in the engineering project planning phase, including costs, how long the project will last, what the discount rate is, and you have to make all sorts of assumptions to try and come up with your analysis. But you also really need to acknowledge that there is uncertainty in the project planning process and figure out ways to deal with that. So this week we're talking about break-even analysis and sensitivity analysis, and then next week we will be covering risk analysis, which is chapter 12 of the book. So really these two are very similar paired lectures. So let's hop in. We have break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is used to determine when a decision between two alternatives is arbitrary, given a single factor heavily driving the cost. So basically what it's doing is, all right, figuring out at what point two project values are equal, right? If they have the same cost, the decision should be arbitrary. So in this case, we've got expected worth of A is equal to some function of Y, where Y is going to be the single factor heavily driving the cost. And then the equivalent worth of B could also be a different function where the same Y is driving the cost. So what the example that we'll do in Excel is going to be using the decision between choosing a gas vehicle and a hybrid vehicle, knowing that the price of gas is going to be driving the value of each alternative. If you want to pause now, it would be a great time to go switch over to the break-even analysis Excel lecture and go through how to do that in Excel. We are going to move on to sensitivity analysis. So sensitivity analysis helps determine the effects of different assumptions being wrong for a project. So if you have an equivalent worth of A that is dependent on three different costs, X, Y, and Z, we want to know, all right, by what percent does a single one of these factors have to change for us to no longer feel comfortable moving forward with the project, or vice versa, where maybe it has to change by 10% to make you feel like you are making enough money on the project. So the way sensitivity analysis works is that you will basically test a bunch of different percent changes for each factor while holding the other two constant, and then you will figure out what the equivalent worth of the project is if, say, the cost of X is 50% less than you originally planned, 50% more than originally planned, etc., etc. So then what you can do is figure out how much each factor has to change for you to change your decision. So that's it for the lecture portion. There is another Excel example for sensitivity analysis, and if you haven't watched the break-even analysis one, that is there also. They're both about 10 to 15 minutes long. Thank you very much.